mics and phones and cameras in your face.
Yes, sir.
Like the Iron Bowl.
I didn't get interviewed after the Iron Bowl, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, this is just kind of a surreal experience, kind of looking around, seeing everybody here. You know, I mean, I feel more comfortable going out there and hitting a 48-yard field goal than I do talking in front of y'all.
They were feeling a little different being home.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. The weather is probably the biggest difference that you could sense. You know, it's nice to get back. I mean, my parents are able to come to every game, my brother, and just, you know, a bunch of family that has been able to see me play, you know, being 13 hours away down in Alabama. It's a lot nicer being only an hour away from Rochester.
Mel said they had a little competition this week,
Yes, sir.
and I think Jaden said they were doing things trying to harass. What was that like?
Yeah, so we had all three of our kickers kind of line up from the same spots, and pretty much the entire team was up on us, yelling in our ear, trying to do different stuff. People were spraying water, just trying to get in our heads, kind of, you know, try to throw some guys off and maybe get a reaction, maybe try and get them to miss, and just, you know, make sure that the kickers are locked in.
Between the two that you made and the one that Jacob blocked, that's 9 points in this
Yes, sir.
6-point game.
Yes, sir.
What does that say to you?
Yeah, I mean, it just emphasizes the importance of special teams. You know, a lot of people harp on the main four of kickoff, kick return, you know, punt and punt return, but, you know, field goal is just as important, and so is field goal block. You know, just being able to see Jacob go out there and block that, you know, obviously changed a lot of momentum for the game. You know, got us the ball back, and we were able to, you know, kind of just get back down and kick another field goal and put us ahead by 6 or
You said you're
by
more
13.
comfortable kicking a 48-yarder than being with us.
Yeah.
Is it more comfortable kicking a 48-yarder or having those dudes in your ear for the entire week?
You know, I really like having the guys in my ear. It kind of helps you drown out the noises in your own head. You know, just having that white noise around you of, you know, a large crowd. You know, for me, it's more therapeutic than, you know, if I just had Coach Tucker in my ear being, you know, saying some stuff. It's a lot better to have the entire crowd there. And kind of like it was out there for that 48-yarder, you know, the fans were feeling it, they were excited, and we just went out there, got the job done. You know, thankful for my snapper, my holder, in my line. You know, I did my 111th, and those guys definitely did their 111ths.
Was there anybody or anything said to you during the supposed distractionary period where you were just like, come on, man, really? Or anything done?
What
you know?
did they say?
Not necessarily. It was like I said, it was mostly white noise. You know, I was able to kind of clue it out. Bryce likes to use a piece of tape to kind of find his spot out there on the field. I remember somebody made a comment about that tape. He's like, "That tape's not going to help you." I was like, "Well, it's not for me. It's for the holder." But yeah, that was really the only thing that kind of stuck with me during practice.
What was your range today? Coach had said to you, can you hit from 52? Would you have told him yes?
Yeah, so my range going the direction where I hit the 48-yarder, it was about 52. Yep, had a little wind to my back. Going the other way is a little more difficult. It was about mid-40s, but during halftime I got out there and I hit a 49-yarder going that way.
We didn't talk to you about this last week, but how crazy was it to kick in those gusts in Champaign?
It was pretty wild. You know, fortunately for me, I didn't have any major long field goals, but I mean, kicking pregame, you know, mostly watching some of the other guys kick, like hit their little pooch kicks to the returners pregame, watching the punters, you know, that ball would go up and hit a wall, then come back down. So, you know, kicking into the wind, I just try to keep it short, you know, keep my confidence up and just hit those shorter field goals. I believe there we had a range of about 45 or something. Obviously, with the guts, it was just super unpredictable.
The extra point that you hit, was that a win thing, did you think?
I won't say as much of a win thing, you know, because we had the wind to our back. I think it was just not a great operation on all three of our parts, and we acknowledged it. We reviewed it in film, and we looked back at it, and we corrected it. We got out there, and we worked on it this week at practice.
One of the things Coach said was that we could hear the guys on the sideline today. When they're in your ear like that during practice, we're trying to distract you. Could you feel support throughout that? Like, could you guys feel the support throughout that they know how much it means?
Yeah, definitely, because, you know, the guys want to get you uncomfortable because they want you to make your kicks when it really matters. So, I mean, going out there for practice, you know, you could kind of downplay it and be like, oh, you know, well, what's going to happen if I miss this, you know? Not really anything. Maybe your teammates are upset. Maybe you have to run a lap or run down and back. But I mean, in games, obviously, there's a lot more riding on it. So just being able to have those guys hold you accountable in practice and kind of get on you in that sense allows you to be more locked in when it comes to the big show.
Back a little bit. Was that, just from up where we were?
Yeah.
Was that kickoff that Jack had? Did he just take a left turn?
Yeah, so going that way into the wind, there was this weird pocket where the ball was shooting left. So one of his kickoffs did it. Fortunately for me, none of my field goals did it, but when I was warming up pregame and during halftime, I would hit a ball and it would get up and it would shoot left. And it was just extremely unpredictable wind there.
So Slade's block comes before your 47-yarder.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, as a kicker, if you let things get in your head, I mean, so were you thinking, man, he blocked one, I don't want to get, I mean, was that part of the deal?
So normally how I think about it is like, for me personally, like I like to see kicks go through the uprights. So it's like, I'm happy that they missed the field goal because it helped us win the game.
Yeah.
But, not seeing balls go through the uprights. I remember last year I was driving to a game right before my first start. I think somebody was lining up for a PAT. I was like, okay, I'll just see him put it through, and then he shanked the PAT. I was like, oh, I really don't need that in my mind right now. But, I think I was just more so excited this time, just seeing that block, seeing those guys rip through the line, get it blocked, and then, I believe it was Speed picked it up, and then Ben got it and took it a little further. But, it was just awesome to see that, just trying not to let those things of block kicks kind of really be like, oh, they got one blocked. Hopefully we don't get one blocked, Just trying not to get in that mindset.
Ben, when you were at Auburn, what did you know about Michigan State? And getting here as late as you did, how tough was that?
Yeah, so my brother actually came to Michigan State. He was 2 years older than me. He graduated last December, so I actually have never been inside a Spartan Stadium. I came up, I believe, in 2017, tailgated for the Western Michigan game, but never went inside the stadium. I never thought I'd be a Spartan. I kind of, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna get out of state, go explore, meet some new people, and things just lead to another. God has a greater plan than me that I have for myself, and just wound up in East Lansing.
Did your brother say, hey, what, it's a pretty good place, you got to take a look?
Yeah, him and his friends, they're all like, oh yeah, like check it out. I didn't know where to live, so when I came up and visited him, I, went and visited his friends' apartments, and that was the only place I knew, so that's where I ended up living because it's the only place that I was like, okay, like this is relatively close to campus. I'm somewhat familiar with it, so that's kind of where I wound up.
It's getting late with the decision. If you hadn't come here, what would you have done?
Yeah, maybe just took the time off and, just trained. I got my undergrad from Auburn, and that was all out of pocket. So obviously college isn't cheap, especially out of state. And, maybe I was going to be able to find something, like a Michigan State where it would be in-state, or I'd be able to find a smaller school that would give me some money. But
put you on scholarship now?
Yes, sir. But coming into the fall, but I believe that I'm a Big Ten kicker, a Power 5 kicker, and Michigan State was just a perfect storm or a perfect opportunity for me to step in at another Power 5 program as well as have it be in-state, so have it be a little easier on the old checkbook for me. So I'm just extremely blessed to be here.
So there has to be a thing that you realize with the Auburn-Alabama rivalry.
Yep.
And you get up here and you get exposed to the Michigan State-Michigan rivalry. Did you have a talk with any guys about, hey, listen, you think you got that you have no idea?
Yeah, between guys like, we have Ronald Williams who transferred in from Alabama, so I spent a lot of time talking to him about it, and I spent some time talking to Speed about the Auburn-Georgia rivalry and just kind of how, they're similar and different. I think that, I believe I saw Coach Barnett or one of the coaches say before the game, what's different about this from when you played, and he said, the bulletin board material. I felt that my time down at Auburn, Nick Saban and our coaches down at Auburn did a pretty good job with kind of keeping guys from using saying bulletin board material or having stuff they could put up in team meetings. And, I grew up, the Friday before the game in elementary school, kids would wear their Michigan or Michigan State stuff. I was wearing my Michigan State stuff back then. But yeah, it's just different. You know, there's no real good way to explain it, but it's definitely a different experience.
SEC still crazier though.
I would give the edge to the SEC, yes, sir.